Ready to rock and roll? Is that action? All right. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely. Go. Go.
Hello, everybody. It's Jason Will with
Go.
So this is a real estate podcast, but we talk about leadership, personal growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. Leadership, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Growth, best version of yourself.
Go.
So this is a real estate podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk to Christopher Coleman. He is a local entrepreneur and author of The 180 Effect, Homeless to Business Owner in One Decision. At age 22, Chris found himself depressed, miserable, and lost in life, and eventually homeless, where there was no safety net in sight. Today, we're going to talk about how Chris got his act together. He started with personal development, acquiring new skills, learned to stay focused, develop a long-term vision, and eventually turned his life around. Chris is a great guy. He is a fantastic health and wellness instructor, as well as an entrepreneur. We're going to have a really meaningful discussion with him on his 180 effect and how you can incorporate his life experiences and his knowledge into your business and personal growth. All right, Chris Coleman, welcome to the Agent 251 podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you doing this morning?
Doing great, man.
We got a lot to talk about today.
That we do.
Let's just jump right in. So tell the audience who you are, what you do, why you're here.
Well, I'm here to give you guys some fire, add some value. I'm Chris Coleman, your health is wealth guy, author of The 180 Effect, 2-time bestseller on Amazon, founder of the Health is Wealth Nation. You know, I'm here to wake you guys up and show you how to design the life.
So you are a health coach.
Health coach, wellness coach, yeah.
How is that different from a personal trainer? Let's start there.
Well, a personal trainer usually only works, well, I'm not going to say only, but they only work with exercise, and that's 20% of the process. And getting true results in life is 80% nutrition, only 20% exercise. If I'm a personal trainer, only working with somebody, working them out, making them sweat, but once they go home, then that's when the other 80% of the process starts. And a lot of times that's where people don't see results because they don't take care of the 80%. So being a business owner, being somebody with no logic, I'm like, hey, I'm going to focus on the 80% of what it takes to get someone true results and sustainable results in life. And then we'll just go from there.
It's amazing how much the 80-20 rule applies to so many things.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, we were at a conference in California last week and was sitting in an Instagram class, a breakout session, and the speaker was talking about an 80-20 rule with Instagram. So, but to clarify to the audience, you're saying that health, wellness, even, your physique,
yeah,
right, is 80% nutrition and 20% actual exercise.
Yeah, even with a bodybuilder, and I asked, I work with a lot of athletes, a lot of high school, college kids, because I used to be an athlete in high school. And I asked them, like, what does it take to build muscle? And they automatically say, oh, yeah, I got to get in the gym. I got to pump some iron. I say, no, that's when you break your body down in the gym. You rebuild. You start to get the physical looks from eating. That's when you recover. That's when the real molding starts to begin. You got to give your body what it needs. Food is nothing but information and data for the body at the end of the day. So you have to give it what it needs so it can do what it wants.
It's a sad thing because I think what you're saying is you can't exercise your way to eating badly.
Absolutely.
You just can't do it.
You can't outwork a bad diet.
But you can. But I guess you can have cheat days. That's about as good as it gets.
I say reward days.
Reward days.
Yeah.
I like that.
You can reward yourself, especially like with females, for them to think just to admit to themselves that they're going to cheat, like they just break down emotionally and like it's no progress. It's no, like that mental connection is already gone. But you tell somebody, hey, you're going to work hard for 6 days and we're going to reward yourself on the 7th day, and they feel good and they feel motivated about that progress. And
we're going to talk a lot about positive self-talk today, but I mean, we've already started. You're flipping the script on the cheat day to reward day, and it's corny, but it's really that simple.
It's simple, but it's profound.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm coached by Tom Ferry, a real estate coach, and he's been talking the last few years about health and wellness. Like, he just doesn't want to be just a business coach. He wants to, give people tools to achieve, optimum health, but also he does like financial coaching. But a large part, and I'm a living example, a large part of our industry is overweight, and we just work all the time. We're always on the go. we don't prepare meals, and a lot of times we're eating on the go, we're on the fly, and the quickest thing to do is to pull into a fast food place, or you get so hungry your willpower depletes and you make a bad decision.
Absolutely. Yeah, like it's been like the common notion, and that's why I'm really getting into corporate wellness and being a corporate wellness expert, because it's been a common notion for the longest. Hey, I'm gonna put my health on the backside so I can pursue wealth, and like logically, that's just stupid. You have to pursue your health, and that's your fuel, that's your energy, so you can have more energy to pursue wealth. So I'm big on optimizing our health while we accumulate wealth.
You really have to be selfish in terms of your health and wellness.
Absolutely. You have to put yourself first. Everything starts with you. And when you just think in life, like think of a mom, like if the mom isn't good, then the kids aren't taken care of. So she has to make sure that she's okay in order for their well-being. There's so many things in life you have to put yourself first, especially with you, so many realtors depend on you, so you have to make sure you're good because so many people are depending on you. So you have to be selfish.
Yeah. I mean, when the mask falls from the plane, they say put it on first before you help somebody else.
Absolutely.
This is the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
So building a muscle of self-talk, let's talk about that for a minute. What does that mean to you, and what exactly are we talking about there?
Self-talk is what you say to yourself in your mind when nobody's around. It's how you influence yourself. So, for instance, you can go to a seminar, you can have a mentor session with somebody like a coach or, like I said, a mentor. But late at night when you're going to sleep, you're telling yourself a story night after night. That's self-talk. In moments when you have to make a decision, what you're telling yourself in your mind in that moment, that's self-talk. So a lot of times we'll see something great happen and say, man, I can't do that, or he can only do that because X, Y, and Z. That's self-talk. So on one end, you can have someone that self-talk is just piss poor and they're telling themselves a negative story over and over again. But on the other end, you can have someone, they see something great happen. They say, man, if he can do that, then I can do that's the positive self-talk. So it's either one of the two. You're either on the negative side or you're on the positive side of self-talk. And a lot of people are just they just suck at it. What evidence of success, what wins they have in their life, in the moment, they always revert back to that old story of that self-doubt and that self-talk. And if you can flip that, that one flip, they say circle of influence is a great that one key that can change your life. Mm-hmm. But if you can change your self-talk and you're always motivating yourself, even in bad time, even when everyone else is doubting you, but if you can train your muscle to encourage yourself, that can change the game.
I'm really excited about Tom Bilyeu speaking at our Momentum University conference because he talks a lot about brain chemistry. Yep. And really, your reality is just a product of that story, like you said, that you're telling yourself.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get into your history in a second, because you've got a lot of reasons just to say, oh, to hell with it. You could have given up along the way several times. The road to where you are now has certainly not been easy.
Nope.
And if you hadn't been, to use your words, your ultimate mentor, like you yourself are your ultimate mentor,
mm-hmm.
We probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Right.
So let's talk about that, your journey a little bit. So at age 23...
Age 22.
22, you were homeless?
Mm-hmm. January 1st, 2013.
So what were the circumstances surrounding that?
Well, at that time, 22-year-old kid, African-American, grew up here in the South, Mobile, Alabama. My dad's side of the family is from Baldwin County, so I was actually working in Baldwin County at the time. And, I had one of those upbringings where grew up Catholic, my mom, single parent household, just the typical conservative housewife, well, single mom, but, how she has that mindset, just Southern Belle, mm-hmm. Just Catholic, do everything right, do things right at home. So I really didn't have that upbringing where I need to go out and take control, and grasp, what I want in life. So ended up, like I said, 22, homeless, just lost. I had a lot of ambition in life, but I really didn't have the tactical skills that I needed, in the real world. I grew up playing sports, had the 9-to-5 job, went to school, dropped out, and then I'm in the real world and I don't know actually what to do. I don't have any connections. I don't have any, inheritance. I'm just out in the world. But for some reason, I made this decision hey, if my life is going to change, I need to change. I want a drastic improvement in my life. So I need to make a drastic decision, something to just take me outside of my comfort zone. like it just hit me, like a pile of bricks. Like I need to do something. And, I decided to go homeless. I was living with my grandma at the time. And
So why not stay with her?
because in my mind, that was part of the reason why I didn't have any skills. I had so many safety nets. Like, okay,
Right.
well, I'm growing up, blah blah blah. Well, grandma got me. She feels sorry for me in my situation in life. So she gonna help me out. She gonna give me some assistance. And I had a couple of safety nets like that. Just people, that I grew up with and that just knew me. And I was like, okay, for once in life, everything needs to be on Chris. And once that happened, then I was good to go. Because if I didn't succeed, then it was only one person to blame, and that was me. So as soon as I was in that predicament, I just started to progress and skyrise from there.
Well, that's fascinating. So you recognized that you were being so self-reliant on others and you weren't going anywhere in life. You were just kind of in this purgatory where you were just, in limbo, not doing anything, treading water,
Right.
I guess, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to actually insert myself into rock bottom so that I can start moving up.
Exactly. Yep.
So you had a car?
Yep, had a car. I was sleeping in my car. Like it's not one of those stories, and I get a lot of slack because people read or see the title of my book or hear my story and think I'm like taking advantage of my story. Like, man, you wasn't in like a cardboard box or whatnot, but I was still homeless. I didn't have a home. Matter of fact, it's a lot of people today. They go to a house every single day, but they still don't have a home. They don't have like a true embodiment and that meaning of a home. So, I was living out in my car. I was working 2 jobs at the time, at the Orchard House and at the YMCA across the bay. So, I had places to go. I had somewhere to shower. And some nights I would even spend all night at the Waffle House, like right there on Eastern Shore once you get off of the interstate. And I was a key holder at the YMCA. So then I would just go to the Y in the morning and, go to work. So it wasn't like I was just out in the street, just living in my car and going to work. But what I needed, because I had so much solitude at that time where I was able to learn myself and also able to step outside my comfort zone. Like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to talk to. This is what I need to do more to get. And this is the time I need to really kind of map out that vision I had. Because I always had a big vision, but it wasn't clear. It was like a cloudy vision. But that was a moment where I could start to make like those next steps and kind of put those stepping stones down, like what to do next. And then it just, like I said, it just skyrocketed from there.
Wow, that's really interesting. So take us through your thoughts and definitions and the way you describe motivation versus self-discipline.
Self-discipline and motivation, it's just a buzzword today, and it's now even like an industry. Like people just want to be a motivational speaker. I tell my clients all the time, like I literally can't motivate you. There's no such thing as motivation. There's self-motivation. There's no such thing as really me disciplining you or helping you be disciplined. It's self-discipline. I can bring it out of you. I can bring it to the surface, but it has to be instilled in somebody first. And sometimes that's where we get messed up. We want to hire a coach or a trainer or a mentor. Like, hey, I need somebody to motivate me. And I look at, I think Rohn said it once. It's almost like being a light switch, and you're a light switch, and you're paying someone to come turn you on. Like, what if they don't show up? Like, what if they quit? You're just forever turned off. So I always say, like, it's an inside job. You don't want to outsource that to somebody else. You have to be motivated and self-disciplined, like, somewhere inside you. And maybe, like, an outside influence, maybe it just needs to, like, spark it or, like, make you aware of it or make you, like I said, bring it to the surface. But nobody can instill that in you. It has to come from within you.
There's where you find yourself in this car, homeless. I think you were in this comfort zone at your grandmother's house. Mm-hmm. Maybe she was trying to motivate you, but you didn't.
Yeah. You
needed that spark.
I needed that spark, and that was that drastic decision I made to become homeless. And being in that element I was, like, maybe that was the spark I needed, and it lit a fire within me on my own. From then, I had mentors and coaches bring it to the surface. But before, I had, my dad, who I never had a relationship with, really. And at one time, it was just one of those, okay, like just going through the motions kind of thing. He would try to motivate me, and that didn't work. And my grandma and then my mom, like all of these outside influences try to motivate me. But at that time, I really didn't have that fire within me yet, so it was useless. But once I became homeless, once I kind of had a clear vision for myself and had that fire within me, and from there it's just progression after progression.
Was the fire and the direction and this vision, was this towards the health and wellness field at that point, or did that come later?
Well, ever since I was little, I always wanted to help people. Even in 6th grade, I was a peer mediator. I went to Most Pure Heart of Mary, And instead of like when kids would get in trouble, whether it was like 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, instead of the teachers dealing with it, we had a certain group of students. Like they'll come to us and we'll talk about it. So in 6th grade, I learned how to, listen and paraphrase and, come to an unbiased conclusion and like all of that. And even before then, I just always been like a leader in sports and whatnot. So I've always wanted to help people. I grew up Catholic. So at one time I was like, man, like the priest is standing up there talking, everybody's listening. I want to be a priest. Like I just like something in me just always wanted to do that. Like once I got to that point, I want to say when I was 22 in my car, that vision was okay. One day, and matter of fact, I talk about it in my book, and it's so surreal that sometimes I don't even acknowledge that it happened. But it was like January, February, real cold. I'm sleeping in my car. Like this is like probably one of the coldest winters we had, and I just get extremely warm. Like the heater isn't on, but I get extremely warm, and I finally see. I remember I talk about it in my book, but I can vaguely remember it. But I see like a book, and it's almost like pages are flipping in it, and I think it's God showing me the book or whatever. And the book is almost like every page is, okay, Chris, these are all the people that you've personally, influenced or, helped out, or these are people that have been indirectly influenced by you through somebody else. While the book is turning, it just never ends. Like it's like a never-ending book. So like that vision showed me, okay, one day I'm gonna help a lot of people. I'm gonna have a shit ton of money so I can help a lot of people. Cause money is a tool, and
that's right.
And don't even get me started on that conversation. But in order to help 1 million people, I need $1 million. In order to help 1 billion people, I need $1 billion. Like so, I just had that vision. Like, man, one day I'm gonna help a lot of people. At that time, I did want to be a personal trainer, but you see my mindset about it now. It's like, man, I'm gonna have a shit ton of gyms, and like I just had that vision. At that time, and then from there, it was just making progression, like gaining skills. Like, okay, I need to be able to talk to people. I need to know how to sell. I need to know how, and like since then, I've just been skilling up.
One of the most fascinating parts of your story is how you actually, this evolution of the health and wellness, it came to you because it really hit close to home. So tell the audience like what happened within your family.
My mom is the baby of 9 kids. So it's her, then it's my auntie, and then they have 7 older brothers. Well, today, I have no uncles on that side anyway. All of my mom's brothers have passed away, mostly due to health preventative illnesses. But of course, some like esophagus cancer and things like that. But for the most part, a lot of it could have been prevented from, creating a healthy, active lifestyle. 2 passed away before I was born. The first one that died, it was actually the night of Katrina, when Katrina hit, and it was my first week of high school. And I grew up without a father, so he was like my father figure. I called him Uncle E, and I got a tattoo for him on my arm, and he passed away. And then next thing you know, when I'm a district manager, one passed away and I kind of skipped that in the story, but when I came from being homeless, 3-4 months after I became homeless, I got a sales job. Then I became assistant manager in 2 weeks, sales manager in 2 months, promoted to district manager in 9 months. I moved to Florence, Alabama, 6.5 hours away from here, where I built the district headquarters from scratch. We did 6 figures in 18 months, and I built a sales force of 150 reps.
What were y'all selling?
Cutco knives. So,
Cutco, all right, yeah.
High premium knives, and we did 6 figures in 18 months in an area where the median income is $35,000.
Yeah, that's strong.
So if I can teach high school, college kids how to sell knives in that area, I can do anything. So that was a progression with that. My first year as a district manager, one of my uncles passed away. And then my second full year as a district manager, I had another uncle pass away. And in the past 5 years, I've had 5 uncles pass away. Every single year.
So after that,
after the first 2 passed away, I was like, okay, I'm up here in Florence, successful district manager, changing lives, having success stories, having high school, college kids make more, than their parents in some weeks. But back home, I got family members passing away and dying, simply from feeding themselves and eating themselves. Like, in the South, we have like an epidemic when it comes to obesity and chronic illness.
Right.
And there's no reason people should be dying simply from eating, like from what they're eating. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I love Crown, and you know, I like donuts more than the next guy. But trust me, like, it shouldn't get to the point where like people are dying because of it. You know, Mobile is the number 7 fattest city in the nation, top 5, in the top 6 fattest states in the nation. You know, the states here along the Gulf Coast are in the top. You know, 5 fattest states. Like, you look at an obesity map and all of the dark colored states. You know, like Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, you know, Louisiana, and of course, you know, Alabama. It just fueled me to, okay, I need to make a change. You know, I have people dying in my family, you know, and of course here just along the South, people are dying. So, you know, that's my mission, to change the state of health, you know, here in the South. And, you know, especially with Health is Wealth Nation, we want to open up 100 nutrition clubs, you know, along the Gulf Coast by the end of 2020.
Now, you've always been an athlete.
Yeah.
But at this time, when all this stuff is going on, and you're working with Cutco, are you yourself eating healthy?
At first, no.
Okay.
And that's another reason why I can be so strong on this message. Like, look, this happened to me. You know, I put my health on the back burner, you know, so I can, like I said, skill up and make progression. You know, I was working even as a sales manager. Like, I was running the office here in Mobile and like making shit, but still like working hard, you know, paying my dues, you know, running interviews, running training seminars, and, you know, not eating right and not exercising and not drinking water. So like, I've been in that predicament, and, you know, it got bad, you know, when I became a district manager. And a lot of people may see me on Instagram and whatnot and see my picture, but one of the pictures, like before I started like my nutrition program and eating right, like I looked sick, you know, real skinny, especially for my frame, you know, being kind of built, you know, I'm real skinny. You know, I was always getting sick in the office, working like 16, 17 hours in the office. You know, my immune system got low, and I was always dehydrated. So I learned from firsthand, like, look, health is wealth. I don't care how much money you can make. If you don't have your health, then like it don't mean shit. And just think about it, like, what's the point of having a ton of money, you know, when you have to spend all of it on doctor bills and surgeries? You know, what's the point of, you know, having a ton of money for your family and they just have to use it to bury you, you know, early? Like, it makes no sense. So that's always been like my motivation since then. Like, all right, I learned firsthand from me. I learned firsthand from my family and what happened to them. So I'm gonna make sure I can prevent this from happening to, you know, other people and business owners.
I was in a mastermind with real estate professionals in January in Los Angeles, and the coach brought in a health and wellness guy he'd known for the longest time. And he said that if you drink, I think it was a gallon of water. I mean, just the hydration part of it.
Yeah.
He's like, if you start drinking X amount, I can't remember if it was so many gallons.
It fluctuates, it varies, but that's like the
it was a lot of water.
Yeah, that's a generalized, like, just go for a gallon. Yeah.
Yes, he said you will immediately see a difference in like weight and you know how you feel and on all that stuff. And you walked in with a big jug this morning. So
I mean, could just think about it. Every one of our, when you wake up in the morning, and I do it, it's a habit now, but biologically, like, our organs theoretically kind of shut down when we sleep because they don't have any fluid. And so think of it like a sponge get dry. So when you wake up, like, you need to, and you put water on a sponge and it just like comes alive. That's kind of what happens with our organs. You know, like, we have to fuel ourselves. And you just think about with being hydrated with your skin and your hair, like water. Like, people say, you know, our body is like 7% water, 80, 60, all the numbers are just all over the place. But really that concept is like, even when we drink water, a bit of it is actually turning, like, it goes towards, you know, our blood. Like, we're water, but it's like in different, you know, different senses. So, yeah, like, water is just extremely important. Even when like people get a headache and the first thing they do is reach for like some Tylenol or whatnot. But your body is telling you that, hey, I'm partially dehydrated. Like, I need some water. That's why you have a headache. It don't have to be just because of medicine. So, yeah, water is like extremely important.
I eat terrible, and it's mostly Travis's fault. Because Travis eats
biscuits and waffles. What was it?
his diet. You really need to get on Travis because he's really got a problem. He's a bad influence.
We've already talked about it.
Yeah, he's a terrible influence. But I mean, I eat. My diet's terrible. I'll go on, you know, these kind of tangents where I won't touch a carb, and then, you know, I just always fall off the wagon. But here's one thing that I've noticed, and it's so powerful, and I'm so bad about stepping on the scale and, you know, beat myself up about that number. But what is undeniable is, let's say today, I'm going to go teach a class at noon at our West Mobile office. If I get up and just roll out of bed, do nothing the morning I have to teach or present, I got this cloud in my brain. And if I get my heart rate up, I get this clarity, this cognitive sharpness.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll notice that if I don't get any exercise, and it doesn't have to be overly strenuous. Like if I get up, run a mile, or ride a bike, or do something for 20 or 30 minutes, I won't have a problem remembering what I was going to say. But if I don't, I do.
That's so big, and I tell a lot of people, because I mean, everyone thinks that they're like the next. They work out like they think they're the next Olympic athlete, or they're about to be a professional, athlete. Like you don't have to work out like you're about to do a CrossFit Games next year, or you're about to play for NBA Finals. Like we're just human beings that want to feel better and look better. So it doesn't take all that. I tell a lot of my clients, like, no, don't run. Just go for a walk. Just go for a 10-minute walk every day.
What this coach I was telling you about at this January mastermind in L.A., John Chiplack, I think he says he spends like 20, he's in the gym quite a bit, 5 to probably 6 days a week. But when he goes, it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He's only in there 20 minutes. And this dude is ripped.
That's all it takes.
But he eats chicken and asparagus.
And I bet he's been doing that for like a long time, just probably 5-6 times a week, but just 20 minutes. So that's one brick laid every single day for, however long, and now you see the results of it. But some people want to work out 2 hours, for 2 weeks, and then say, man, for that, I'm not doing that no more. And then that's why they don't see results.
Well, and then they're not eating. They're probably...
Yeah, and then they're not eating. And then the harder you work out, like I said, it's 80% nutrition. The harder you work out, the harder you break down your body. So the more nutrition you need to refuel and rebuild what you just broke down. And then next thing you know, like, you feel so crappy. Like, some people are so sore that they can't continue working out. Well, you just up your body for 2 weeks and you're not eating right to recover. So like, even with athletes, after you work out, you're supposed to get like a protein shake in so you can rebuild. Yeah. And if you're not rebuilding, then it's hard to progress. When you like sore, can barely move and barely walk. Like, it's all about those small disciplines over a long period of time, being consistent.
I want to get off of nutrition here in just a second and talk about, some of your mentors, and because you're connected with a lot of people online and you follow a lot of people that are influential. But I guess for anybody watching here, if you had just a tip to give them in terms of, because, I mean, what's going on right now? We got keto. There's this keto fad going on.
Yeah.
There's all these different little fads that come through, and people jump on these bandwagons. But what are your thoughts on, like, no carb? What does it come down to? Just some simple...
It simply comes down to food is nothing but data and information for the body. Like, when I look at a plate, all I see is proteins, fats, carbs, which are macronutrients, and then micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals. That's all I see when I look at a plate. That's what I need to give my body so it can do what it wants. At the end of the day, that's truly all it is. Depending on your weight or your height, there's a certain amount of calories and a certain amount of protein that you need, depending on your goal. But it's all important. Some are major, some are minor, but that doesn't mean you need to take something completely out. It's still important. Of course, you have to find that harmony. You need to find, that balance for you. But just getting on a trend for 2 weeks, like, anything you do for 2 weeks isn't going to work. So just because you take out carbs and now you're hangry, and now you're not, and now you cussing out your husband and kicking the dog, like how is that beneficial? Like, how is that a good lifestyle? So that's my main thing. I want to do something that's fun, simple, and magical, so that way I can do it over a long period of time. Like, I tell my clients, I'm not giving you a plan. I'm teaching you how to live a lifestyle. Like, what I'm teaching you now, you're going to do this at 60, 70, and 80 years old. And hell, you may even live to be 130 messing with me.
Right.
Because what I'm teaching you is so simple. You can do it no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, and you continue doing it.
Probably the worst thing would be to actually have longevity and have a terrible quality of life. So to live to be 85 and just not be able to do anything.
Exactly. Like, you're restricted. You always have to, like, count this and do this.
Medications all over the counter.
Right. If you take any key, that's it, KISS, keep it stupid simple. Because when it's simple, it's sustainable. And when it's sustainable, it's successful.
We've got all these similar sayings and things like that, but I want to get into all this in just a second. But so when your uncles start passing away, Was it a self-education thing? Did you start reading books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, all on nutrition? Did you just become the student of health and wellness?
Just from growing up being an athlete, like I kind of knew what to do. I just didn't have the resources. Like I just didn't have the kind of skill of, okay, knowing to go to the grocery store and only get this and not that. So like I kind of knew what I needed, but just didn't know how to actually like apply that. And of course, I started a program, Herbalife Nutrition. And of course, Health is Wealth Nation is actually, partnered with Herbalife Nutrition. So that was a big part of it. I mean, like back when we were hunters and gatherers, we would eat like 90 types of plants a day. And now the average American doesn't even eat, 3, types of plants a day. No matter how good you eat, there's still some things you're not getting from your diet. So nutritional supplements are great just to fill in that gap. They're not the end all be all by any means, but they're good to just, fill in the gaps. And it's just that X factor. So when I partner with Herbalife Nutrition, of course, they give great information, articles, have the best doctors in the world, a Nobel, Prize winner, in medicine. So just like you said, just reading up on that, learning from that. And of course, I'm my first client. So I'm learning,
Right.
I'm learning on the go. I'm learning what not to do, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And I have that firsthand experience so I can, teach others, like the worst mentor you want to have is somebody that hasn't done what you want to do. You want somebody that has gone the path and they can shorten the learning curve on your path. That's really what it's been, just, self-taught for the most part, reading articles, different studies, and of course learning from, my own experience and from just trial and error. Like since 2015, I lost count of how many clients I've, coached, and just from in person or just across the nation. So it's just been a accumulation of knowledge since then, and that's why I can say I'm the expert now. I may not be the expert on everything that's out there because a bunch of bullshit out there, but I'm the expert on what works and what can work for you to get guaranteed results.
That's strong. What about Jim Rohn and all this leadership stuff? When is this? When do you start getting hooked on all this stuff?
Well, the ironic thing is I actually was introduced to Jim Rohn in 2013. After I became homeless, got the sales job, became an assistant manager and a sales manager. No matter what you do in life, personal development is a huge foundation. So because you can have the right tools to get something done, but if you don't have that personal philosophy, that that mindset, that drive you to use the tools, like it's not going to work. So I got introduced to then, and just all of these things, all these different sayings, if you don't like life, move, you're not a tree, and different things like that.
Yeah.
So in 2013, and then when I partnered with Herbalife Nutrition and Health is Wealth Nation, I learned that Jim Rohn was actually an employee for Herbalife, back in the day, to help Herbalife skyrocket. So a lot of the talks you hear on YouTube of Jerome, he's actually at an Herbalife Nutrition seminar, coaching, distributors.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a lot of times you hear something about, you hear him say, hey, distributor, you hear him say the word distributor or wholesale and stuff like that. He's talking and training Herbalife distributors. And yeah, I've just learned a lot from him. And also, I grew up Catholic, so he talks about the Bible a ton. So that really kind of reassured me. I think everybody kind of goes through that path where they're kind of questioning things, but he reassured me, and just simple logic. He always says, well, no matter what you feel about the Bible, it's 66 books. You can feel what you want about it, but it's a collection of books, so it's something to get from it. It's more practical than spiritual. Just simple, stories and principles you can take and apply no matter where.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about the book. Let's wrap it up with this book, The 180 Effect. Did you have a ghostwriter or anything, or this come straight from your...
Straight from me. This is actually the second edition. The first edition I published November 2016, and I wrote it in 1 week.
That fascinates me because I would love to write a book, but most of the stuff I write, I have a ghostwriter.
A lot of people tell me I need a ghostwriter, but
I've got a good one if you need a recommendation.
Hey, but when you think about it, it's always, they call it bestseller, not best written.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So it's important, but it's not the most important thing. But yeah, I wrote it in a week. It really documents my life of 2013, 2014, and then 2015. And then 2015 is when I stepped down as a district manager and then started going all in with Health is Wealth Nation and Herbalife Nutrition. And the 180 effect is really 3 phases of growing, grooming, and greatness. What I found is a lot of people, they just want to skip those growing pains. They really don't want to groom their skills, and they just want to be great. Like, let me be great. Oh, I'm the greatest, whatever. But you haven't put in the time to really grow or groom. First, I made a decision, and then that forced me to grow. Now, I went through those growing pains, and then I had to groom the skills, recruiting, sales, closing, negotiating, development, training. And then once I grew those skills, then I finally reached a level of greatness where it's like second nature. I'm breaking records, in my territory and whatnot. But then I made another decision to shut down as a district manager, go all in with Health is Wealth Nation and Herbalife Nutrition. And guess what? The cycle starts again. Now I got to grow. Now I got to groom. Now I got to reach another level of greatness. And then sooner or later, I'm going to make another decision to go to the next level, and then the cycle starts again. So, and I'm real big on the phoenix, firebird from Greek mythology. It engulfs itself in flames, and then it burns in the ashes, and then it rises again, and it grows, and it's a great phoenix bird, and it's on fire, and it's majestic, and it's flying around. And then sooner or later, it engulfs itself in fire again, and then the cycle starts again. And that's really what the 180 effect is all about. You have to grow, have to groom, you got to be great, then you can be great, and then the cycle starts again.
My summary of what you just said is that this journey, it's a long game. You got so many people out there trying to play this short game, this instant success, this overnight success, get rich quick. But it's also about the arrival. They think it's a sprint, it's not a marathon, and then once I get to the finish line, I've arrived. But you'd never. I mean, if you really want this greatness, there's no arrival.
Exactly. Like you hear all like even Grant Cardone or like Gary Vee or Lewis Howes or Ty Lopez, even like Ed Mylett. They reached the level of either greatness, influence, got a ton of money, but they got there because they kept their foot on the gas, their foot on the gas pedal. And I forgot who said it, but somebody said the only difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is that the billionaire just kept their foot on the pedal. They're not really doing different things. Like the billionaire just kept going. They stayed hungry. Like of course you can get to a certain level, but you got to have some hunger and some drive to continue going. And then, like you said, there's no arrival. Like you're always going to grow because you're always going to find something else. So it's a different mindset. It's a different DNA for people where they never get complacent. And really, no matter what in life, if it's not growing, it's dying. Like there's no gray areas, no in between. And I tell a lot of my clients sometimes, like, if you're staying still, the world is continue spinning. The world keeps going. So just by staying still, you're by default getting behind. So you're either going forward or you're getting behind. Like there's no in between. So a lot of times that's what the 180 effect resembles or embodies, just continuous growth. Even like the Kaizen philosophy, like even if you get better just 1% every day, it's continuously growing personally.
I think the biggest thing for people listening and watching is that I think a lot of people think this is just a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of hocus pocus. Why do you need other people to pep you up, and why do you need to do these positive affirmations and say these positive affirmations in the shower? You're just being silly. But there really is a science to this, and the power of the brain and how we can mold our own reality.
Right.
Can't remember what age I was when I heard, I could be anything if I set my mind to it.
Right.
There's really no truer statement that kids are told when they're growing up than that.
It's that true. And if somebody is on the side where, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus and it can't be true, then okay, great. Then that's what you think. Like what the man thinks is so. If you think it doesn't work, it's not going to work. But if you think it does, then it's going to work. The person that says I can and the person that says I can't are both right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people say, oh, well, that can't be true. You're right. Yeah, it's not true. It's not.
You are a Momentum University instructor. You did a series of video courses for Travis or through Travis for Momentum University. Is it some of the principles out of this book?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah. The 180 effect, the phases of growth is implemented. So even with health. So overall, it's like a corporate wellness course. So it's 5 pillars of health: healthy eating, exercise, nutritional supplement, having a coach or a mentor, and being a part of a community. Those are the 5 pillars of health. And of course, if you don't have one pillar, then the entire foundation falls. So I go through those 5 pillars, but in 3 weeks. So the first week we go through the 5 pillars, but it's more like with the growing phase, so just getting familiar. Second phase is a grooming phase, going through the 5 pillars. And then the next phase is a great phase, going through the 5 pillars, but taking it to the next level, kind of building those habits and that culture in your life.
Well, we're waiting. We're having a tech guy out of Pensacola, Florida, who's actually right now building the education side of that website. So all these materials are not ready yet, and it's probably going to be another, I don't know, just a safe bet, maybe 60 days before it's ready. But it will launch at MomentumUniversity.com very soon, and I'm really excited about that because we're going to have all kind of stuff on there. I mean, I'm a real estate agent at heart. That's who I am. It's my identity, but I want this website to be an educational resource. Like it's going to be health, wellness, mindfulness. I mean, there'll be yoga instructors on there. It's just going to be this really eclectic, full spectrum, comprehensive.
Yeah, I love that
site. Yeah. So if you want to be, you talk about, entrepreneurship, motivational person, whether you just need motivation, whether you just want to get healthy, whether you just want to be a part of a community that is inspiring each other to, kind of reach their full potential, which is huge. There's so much wasted potential.
And today is so much inaccurate information online coming from people that haven't done shit. Like even me, and a lot of people say, well, Chris, you're only 27, but first of all, I lived a lot of life. So let's just get that out the way. I lived a lot of life, and I got a lot of notches on my stick, like, Gaines, New York. Like I've done some stuff in life. So like, why not learn from me? Like, why not learn from you? Everything you've built with, the real estate team. You get somebody else that hasn't done anything, but hey, I got this mastermind and all of this information. Come pay this money, learn from me. Like, why? So I love that first of all, you're building this. You're the founder of Momentum University, and like the knowledge that's gonna be on there for people to gain, it's gonna be like legit.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. All right, so if somebody wants to hire you to be, look at that, we're just over time. This is awesome.
Perfect time.
We're almost on track. If somebody wants to hire Chris Coleman to be their health coach, how do they get in touch with you?
You can actually email me at chris@healthiswealthnation.com. Of course, go to the website, healthiswealthnation.com, and get some information on there. Of course, I go into more details about what we've talked about here. And yeah, just send me an email. We can definitely get you set up for success. I'm not just about the nutrition and health, but, definitely going to mentor and, things I know about sales skills, recruiting, etc. So yeah, hit me up, shoot me an email. I'm all over, Instagram, Facebook, Christopher Ray Coleman. Just type that in and you can find me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been awesome.
Hey, I've enjoyed it, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
This show has been paid for and powered by JWRE, Jason Galt Real Estate. You can find Jason, Diana, and the whole JWRE team on the internet and Facebook. And everybody, have a great and productive and happy week.